Hi everybody, my name is Koen Gonnissen. I have been coaching world-class athletes for about 30 years now. For the last 16 years I've also been working in the corporate environment, in the academical world, and also as a keynote speaker around the globe on different topics: energy management, leadership, coaching, cultural change. In my workshops I want to challenge you on two very interesting topics. The first one is about personal energy management, how to be an energizing leader, how to reach personal peak performance. The second topic will be about the energy in the team, how to build a dream team. Where are your teams leaking energy? I hope to see you in April in Umag on the Microsoft WinDays. In top sport, the difference between winning a medal and coming home without anything is often very small. The key element is about cutting away unnecessary energy leaks. So performance is very strongly related to energy management. Your job as a manager could be compared to the career of a top sporter. You also work long hours, under pressure. You need to perform day in, day out, over and over again. So it's very interesting for you to define your personal unnecessary energy leaks. But before doing so, let's define energy. Energy is a feeling you wake up with in the morning. Some days it's like, you're full of energy. It will be easier for you to perform that day. But some days it's going to be like low energy, difficult to perform that day, and not sustainable. Examples: if you're physically not fit, difficult to perform. Mentally, it could be a lack of focus. Emotionally, it could be you're losing a lot of energy in relationships. So please define for yourself, where are you leaking most energy? Three conclusions possible. First of all, energy is not only physical, it's also mental, emotional. Secondly, you're only as strong as your weakest battery. It's like a tripod. If one of the batteries collapses, all three will collapse. And third, winning after winning, so important in top sport, also in the corporate world, is only possible if you optimize mental, emotional, and physical energy. Let's go one step further now. What is the impact of a good mental, emotional, physical balance on performance? What is the impact of this good balance on your brain? What is the link between the brain and performance? Remember, the brain is the center of your performance. And last but not least, what do you know about the brain? Let's find out. Please have a look at the picture. You see the blue button? The prefrontal cortex. It is your CEO, it is your boss. It stands for the higher functions, such as decision making, planning, goal setting, rational problem solving. You make good use of it when you are performing throughout the day. And then you have in the middle of the head, you have the amygdala, in the middle of the emotional center. The amygdala stands for the threat button. Whenever you feel fear, when you are under threat, it will highlight and it will release the stress hormone named cortisol. Now, what is the link between this amygdala and the prefrontal cortex? And why do we need to take good care of the prefrontal cortex? The prefrontal cortex, on top of all the previous mentioned capacities, it has also the capacity to say no, the inhibition capacity. To say no whenever you are under threat to the amygdala. At that moment, the prefrontal cortex will stay rational, stay calm, no need to panic here, stay with the feet on the ground. But to have this capacity, we need to take care of the prefrontal cortex. Three things are important here. First of all, the prefrontal cortex needs a good quality of sleep. 7.5 hours a night, also during the working week. 2, the prefrontal cortex needs the right nutrition. No fast sugars, so no candy, no sugar drinks, but slow sugars, food for the brain. And 3, the prefrontal cortex needs 20 minutes of physical activity a day in a mindful way. This means connected with yourself, not connected with the outer world. So no cell phones at that moment, no music, just in line with yourself, in connection with yourself. If you take care of those 3 actions, the prefrontal cortex will stay fresh. Under pressure, you will stay calm. You will stay in a proactive modus. You will take better decisions. You will be a much better manager. Now that we know how important the fresh prefrontal cortex is, what is the logical next step? It would be that we learn when this prefrontal cortex starts to lose control. It's all about listening to the signals of the body, because the body will give you signals. Have a close look at the list. These signals appear in 3 stadia. Stadium 1 is stadium of alert. The symptoms, mental, emotional, physical, will disappear quickly. The second stadium is the stadium of resistance. It takes longer for the symptoms to disappear. You don't want to stay too long in resistance. An athlete who stays too long in there will get injured. A manager who stays too long in there could get into a burnout. The third stadium is the stadium of exhaustion. You definitely don't want to go there. Now, identify for yourself, please, where you are right now. Do you recognize a lot of symptoms of alert? Maybe of resistance? Hopefully not of exhaustion. To compare your results with some others, I've added some statistics from the industrialized world. It's about more than 110,000 managers. If you look at the results, they are not so good. Impaired hormonal balance, 63%. It means that 63% do not react well, adequate anymore under pressure. Impaired movement patterns is short muscles, consequence headaches, the back is blocking. It's 85%. That's a lot. Overweight, 1 on 2. Sleeping disorders, 4 on 10 people do not sleep well. Now, what did we just discuss on the prefrontal cortex? It needs to sleep well, to eat well, and to have a lot of physical exercise. These results do not reflect these demands. So this means that most managers do not use the full potential of their brain. Now that we defined personal energy, let's also have a look at the energy on team level. What are the ingredients of a dream team? We all work in a team. Is it just a group of individuals, or is it really a team? Where do our teams lose most energy? How to relate all those leaks to the demands of the younger generations? Attracting talent sounds easy, but keeping them is a lot more difficult. Which role will these ingredients of a dream team play in keeping your talents? If you want to know the answers to these questions, I invite you to the session on how to build a dream team.